Hey everyone, Desiree here, and in this video I thought that I would share some tips and tricks about buying and selling traveler's notebooks, or actually any type of planner in the Facebook buy and sell trade groups. I know I mentioned in a lot of my videos that I buy my traveler's notebooks secondhand through the buy, sell, and trade groups. And then I get a lot of you asking me questions, which groups are good? Can you recommend a group, when I'm looking for fill in the blank type of notebook? So I thought I would do a video sharing with you my experience and what I know, and then offering some tips and tricks in case you are interested in buying traveler's notebooks or planners on Facebook. Now, it has been a really good experience for me. I can't say that for everybody, but I can say from my personal experience as a buyer and a seller and doing trades that I have never had an issue or anything, knock on wood, but it's just been a great experience for me. I've gotten notebooks at some killer deals, and I have sold notebooks to some amazing people who love them just as much as I do, if not more so. So let's just go ahead and talk about buying and selling notebooks in Facebook groups. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now let me offer you some tips, and I've got my handy dandy notebook here where I've written some notes because I don't want to forget anything. But first off, what I'm going to do is, the question I get asked the most is, what Facebook groups do you buy your notebooks in? Or what Facebook groups do I sell my notebooks in? And I'm going to link all of the groups that I personally have had experience with, and a few of them I actually know the admins of the group personally too. So I'm going to list all the groups that I know of for you if you're interested in buying or selling traveler's notebooks. Okay, so don't worry, I will list them all below. Okay, so let's start with if you are looking to buy a traveler's notebook. Now, I know the very first time it can be scary because you're thinking, oh, I don't know this person, or what if they don't send it, or blah blah blah. So don't worry about that. I'm going to give you some tips to kind of help you feel a little bit more confident in the buying process, and also to kind of protect you as well. So the first thing I recommend is, if you're buying a notebook from somebody, is to use PayPal. Now, some people don't like PayPal, I get that, but PayPal really is a great way for you to kind of protect yourself, because PayPal gives you 30 days. If for some reason, you buy a notebook and, the person never sends it, at least it kind of gives you a little bit of time where you can request that money back, for some reason. So if you are going to buy a notebook on Facebook or in one of the Facebook groups, I recommend using PayPal to protect yourself. Also, request tracking from the seller. Now, usually a lot of the sellers, actually pretty much every seller that I have bought from, has given me a tracking number for the package. Excuse me, so I didn't really have to ask for it. And kind of in the community, I should say that most people are, I would say 99% of the people on there are pretty honest and upright. But if you are feeling uncomfortable for any reason, you can always request tracking if they don't offer it automatically. I said this earlier, buy in trusted groups, and like I said, I'm going to give you a list of the Facebook groups that I personally use and have had great success with. And if you are looking to buy, a lot of groups have what's called the do not buy from list or warning list. Unfortunately, there have been a few scammers in the community, and so a lot of us are on high alert, so to speak. And so there is a list of names of people that you do not want to buy from. So not all the groups have these lists. In a couple of the groups I'm in, they do have a list of names of people not to buy from. And so you want to check the do not buy from list or the warning list in the group if there is one available. And if for some reason you feel kind of sketchy about the item or whatever, or maybe the photos are not clear, don't be afraid to ask for more pictures, because I know I have done that. Or sometimes someone will put up a picture of a notebook and then it's really blurry or the lighting's terrible and you can't really tell the color or the condition of the notebook. Don't be afraid to ask for more. It's very acceptable. No one's going to get mad at you if for some reason you request more pictures. Okay, if you are selling in a Facebook group, you are selling your notebook, I've got some tips for you as well. Number one, I always recommend to use a PayPal invoice because it protects you as the seller as well. If for some reason the person buying is doing something fraudulent, dishonest, or whatever, as a seller you are protected through PayPal also. And also, if you use the this goes into my next point, if you use the tracking excuse me, if you use the tracking postal service through PayPal, then it automatically will send the buyer that tracking information to protect you. So that way you have proof that you did send out the item and that you also can track when the item arrives, so that way the person can't say they never got it. So that protects you as a seller. Okay, as a seller you want to be fair. I apologize, you're probably hearing my dog bark in the background. I'm gonna apologize right now. She hears somebody outside. But of course you want to be fair, you want to be honest, you want to have good pictures. You want to communicate with the buyer and let them know that you shipped out their notebook or whatever it was. And you want to ship quickly. Now if for some reason you cannot ship out the item within the next day or two, it's a good idea to let the person know. I always try to either ship the same day, as long as it's early in the day and I can get to the post office, or the next day at the latest. I don't like to hold on to the notebook once someone has bought it from me. Only because I want to get it to them as quickly as possible, because I don't want something to happen to it. so I try to ship as quickly as possible. If you are selling, ship as quickly as you can. Also, make sure you get paid first before you send anything out. Now I know some people work out deals where they say, oh, I'll pay you so much and then can you ship it to me and all this stuff. I never do that. For me, if you're gonna buy one of my notebooks, you're gonna pay me upfront first, and then I will ship it out and you will get tracking from me. That's the way I do it. That's the way like pretty much everyone else I know does it, and it's the way that we stay protected, and so we don't get ripped off or lose a notebook. I said always provide tracking to the seller, have really good photos, and have an honest description. If there's something wrong with the notebook, don't think that someone's not going to want to buy it, because I sold a notebook that was really old and beat up, and I was very honest in my pictures and in my description, and someone loved it. She was over the moon happy to get it, and I was glad I was honest, because what I thought she might not like, she actually loved. So just make sure you're honest in your description. Okay, also the last thing I want to talk about if you're selling is something that has recently come up, and that is price hikes or price increases or price gouging. A lot of people get notebooks at a discount because some of the Travelers notebook makers will have like a special sale where they will mark down their notebooks at a crazy low price. And then someone will buy it for the low price, but then they'll turn around and sell it in the buy-sell group, 5 times the amount. I guess all I can say is that's pretty much your call. It's something that's frowned upon in the community. However, I know that some of these notebooks are extremely rare, like certain colors, certain sizes, certain leathers. And so, there is a demand for someone to pay a high price, and there are people who have the money to spend. So use your own discretion if you're going to do that. However, just know that there are people who don't approve and they will call you out on it, but at the same time, it's your notebook and you're gonna do what you're gonna do. Okay, so now let's get into trades. Now, trades can be kind of tricky because there's no exchange of money in hand, but at the same time, you gotta be like, well, how do I know she's sending hers? And then the other person's thinking, well, how do they know I'm sending mine? Well, I have heard of something where the trades are done through PayPal, and I'm not sure exactly how it works, but what they do is each person will send the other person the exact amount through PayPal. So let's say you and I are doing a trade. I'm going to invoice you for $25 to PayPal, and you're going to invoice me for $25 to PayPal. So technically nobody is out any money, but yet we still have some type of a way to track or, you know, paper trace the transaction. Then that way both of you can kind of do the tracking through the PayPal system, and you can make sure the other person is doing it, if that makes sense. I've never done that. All the trades I've done have pretty much, I've just gone on faith, and I, you know, just pray that the other person is honest, and I'm sure they probably did the same with me. And you know, it just worked out. The few trades I've done, both of the ladies were wonderful, and they held up their end of the deal and I held up mine. And that's probably the only tip I can offer you as far as trades go. Also, you want to stick with people you know and trust, stick in groups that you know and trust, and if for some reason you feel kind of sketchy about someone, don't hesitate to ask one of the admins, you know, say, hey, so-and-so wants to do a trade. Do you know anything about her? Is she pretty good? You know, is she pretty up and up or whatever? And don't be afraid to reach out, or even to some other people in the group. And that's about it. I hope I covered everything as far as buying and selling in Facebook groups. It's a wonderful way to get notebooks, either at a discount or sometimes hard to find notebooks. Or sometimes when you want to buy from the maker, a lot of the notebooks are out of stock, and so it's a great way to see what you're getting, an actual picture of what you're getting, if that makes sense. So if you have any questions, or if there's something that I didn't cover in this video, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. And if I think of anything else, I will definitely do an update or a part 2 to this video. And yeah, that's all I can think of. I've given you my best. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.